Welcome to another episode of Brapcast.
Good afternoon and welcome back to Brapcast. My name is Ashley and today we are here with Alex Sammel from Detroit Moped Works. How are you doing today?
I'm doing great. How are you?
I am doing excellent. Thank you for coming on here so early with me this morning.
Oh, I'm excited to do this. It's always new adventures in the shop.
So tell us a little bit about yourself and what you do at Detroit Moped Works.
So I am Alex Sammel, and I'm the owner, operator, and pretty much not a mechanic here at Detroit Moped Works. We've grown to the point that I've got a good number of staff here, about 5 to 8 people working here at any given point in time. So I'm usually pretty busy with the administration of it and running the front end of the shop. As far as what the shop does, we're doing everything with the vintage mopeds. So, little tune-ups, the customization. We sell helmets. We sell Biltwell helmets, and we sell AMSoil. We sell branded Detroit Moped Works apparel. The restored mopeds, the repairs, grips and chains, all the whole gamut of what you can do with a vintage moped.
And I know you're obviously located in Detroit, but where specifically are you out of?
So our shop is located in what's called Southwest Detroit. It's kind of also referred to as Mexican Town over here. We're on a street called Michigan Avenue, which actually runs all the way from Detroit through to Chicago. But we are in the downtown Detroit kind of part of the street. In the city proper, kind of on a major street. Really good freeway access here because we are kind of a destination-based business, so people are coming from all across the state and a little bit further out of the Midwest to come here to see us. So good freeway access is important, and we're right down here.
Perfect. So what made you want to open a business?
Well, it kind of happened by accident. I think I just listened to Ed's interview this morning, and somewhat similar scenario here with us. We were basically helping people out, and helping people is good and fun, but eventually it's exhausting, and you just can't help everybody for free. In your spare time, it just becomes too tiring. So after a while, we decided to kind of start charging for that sort of a service, and we were doing it out of the Old Nasty Yacht Club, which is the clubhouse for Motor City Riot, which is our club, as well as out of Omnicore, which is a hacker space here in Detroit, as well as out of my garage. And every day after work, meeting somebody here, there, and here became too much. So we kind of decided to make it a thing. We bought a building over here on Michigan Avenue to provide the services, to have a dedicated space. There wasn't so much running around, with the dedicated space. All of a sudden we had a phone number, we had an address, which meant, more people could find us. It meant more access to us, which, meant more business. So all of a sudden we had to have steady hours. We had to have a steady staff, just everything to kind of meet the demand of people who were requesting our services. So that kind of brought us to this point, and it's an interesting thing at this point because every summer we get more busy, so we take on more staff. Then every winter, it's winter here, it's snowing for months and months, so we have to kind of find ways to keep ourselves busy, which is why we have launched the YouTube channel, why we do the eBay store, various things to kind of keep us busy with this larger staff throughout the year.
I have not heard of the YouTube channel. What's that all about?
I have always had a dream to have a YouTube channel because we do watch a lot of it, and it's always kind of been an idea. Recently, I applied to this program called Retail Boot Camp here in Detroit, where they take small businesses and kind of give you instruction on how to do retail, because we started as a repair shop, which kind of morphed into retail, but I don't have any real experience doing retail. So with this Retail Boot Camp thing, the application said we need to make and post a YouTube video. So I decided to take that opportunity to actually launch a channel. So it's only been around for about a month. We have basically our intro video, which is what we submitted for that contest, which I won, and I'm now, or not won, but I won a position in it, so I'm participating in that now. And then we also have our first tutorial, which came out like 3 days ago. But we're basically starting as basic as you can get with the YouTube channel. and progressing from there. So the first video was just, how to start the various mopeds, how to engage a starter clutch, how to kick a Tomos backwards, how to, use a decompression on a belt-driven bike, that kind of a thing. Next, we're going to tackle spark. The one after that, we'll tackle the fuel flow, and then from there, we're going to kind of respond to the comments and questions about what people are looking to learn. So we've gotten requests about how to rebuild wheels, some general questions about how to get bikes going. I've got ones about tensioning chains. People always want to know how to put tubes and tires on, so we'll kind of get through that and then maybe get into some of the more advanced carb tuning and performance work, putting the kit on and all that kind of stuff. But we're just starting basic and seeing where it takes us.
Very cool. I know I've done some very unprofessional tutorials on my Turbo Tutorials channel, but it would be nice to see something with some professional production value. I did one where I went through changing a tire, and it's about 1.5 minutes long, but the production value is very low. Phone camera, kind of off-center stuff, so it would be really nice to see a channel dedicated to high-quality content.
Yeah, we are. We're working on it. It's interesting. Becky, who does our web design here and photography and runs the eBay store, she has, I'll say, she has experience with a video camera, but she's never, necessarily made videos before. So this is kind of her first run at it, but she's doing really good. She's taking time, and I'm really happy with it. And, we've only done 2 so far, and the first one's better than the second one. We're learning stuff together, and we're trying to figure out what kind of new equipment to buy to shoot these things. We're figuring out what works and what doesn't work. So I think the first 2 are really good. You should check them out, and I actually just subscribe to your channel here as we're speaking on YouTube there. But I think they're coming out pretty good, and I'm excited to just get better and better and give people content that they want. So if you're listening to this, to interview here, go ahead and check out our YouTube channel, subscribe, and leave us some comments and let us know what you want to hear.
Exactly. So you guys are a complete brand now with all kinds of content, not just doing sales and repairs, but also doing eBay. What are you guys on eBay?
It's just a Detroit Moped Works eBay store. It should be pretty easy to find. With it, the main reason that we do the eBay store is, I guess, kind of a couple of reasons. One of them is that we have so much stuff here. We need to make space. The other thing with it is that, in the winter, we are a little bit slow, so we're trying to kind of occupy our time with it. Most of the content that you'll find on there from us is going to be new old stock stuff from the dealer buyouts that we do, things that are cool and interesting, but we just have excess of. Some of it is going to be, loose motors, loose tanks, that kind of a thing. We do also sell our branded apparel on there. We try not to do too much online sales just because it's not really our focus, and additionally, we really rely on and appreciate Treatland.tv, who's our main supplier, so we don't want to step on their toes too much. But as far as this used stuff goes and this overstock, it's a good way for us to keep ourselves busy in the winter and liquidate some stuff here, make some space.
Indian side covers. I know we've been talking about that off and on, about Indian parts.
Yeah, the white one I think that we had gone back and forth on actually just sold last week. So that one
Very
with its
cool.
side covers are gone from here. Yeah, I guess pretty excited about it. When I say sold, what I actually mean is that he had a Jawa and a Gloria that he would just beat up on so hard, and he came in to get them worked on, and we came to the resolution that he would just trade these 2 barely alive bikes for this restored Indian here. So win for everybody. We got a couple of 2-strokes to restore and put on the floor, and he took that Indian home with him, and we just actually had a couple in here last week from England that had bumped into him down the street riding around, and he sent them down here to us to check out. So that was everybody's advertising.
That's the best advertising, yeah.
That it is.
So you guys do all this different kind of work, and your feelers are out in a ton of different categories. Would you say you guys have as far as the repair goes, a specialty, a certain brand or type of bike you prefer to work on or restore?
I guess I would say that our specialty is kind of making bikes that go what we call about 40. I think, a stock bike is okay, but a bike that goes 25, you can't really stick with traffic, so it makes it kind of impractical and useless. And then there's like a race bike or, a high-performance bike doing 50 or 60, which for us as a shop, since we warranty all of our work and everything that we sell, bikes are just too volatile at those speeds, really, to be charging people and giving them a warranty. So we kind of specialize on, every bike has their own specific upgrades that they tend to really like. The Tomos is like just, the bi-turbo or the Techno pipe, or kind of an affordable pipe with a re-gear to get you around 40. The, with the Minarelli V1 bike, we'll even do a stock carb and a stock pipe with an 80cc kit. Just shy of 40, but really great low end and a really fun bike. The Honda Hobbits, we have a pretty nice package for converting a PA51 to a PA52, affordably to get you that 40 mile per hour mark. So that's kind of what we strive for as a shop, building a bike that's strong enough to stick with traffic, but not too strong for its own good. And then as far as brands, I mean, we like the Pooks just because, with the fact that we do warranty all of our work, Pooks are easy to work on. It's also affordable for us to get parts, because inevitably we do end up having to do warranty work on these things. They're 40 years old, and stuff just does go wrong. So we like the Pooks because it makes honoring those warranties easy and affordable for us. We do sell the new Tomoses. I believe we are currently and still the largest dealer for the new Tomoses in the country. So with those things, obviously we like them because they're new and they're easy and they work really well and they take performance upgrades really well. But I mean, really, we'll work on anything. Just the easier it is to get parts, the more that we like to work on them, because it helps us help you out affordably. But service-wise, we're pretty content working on anything.
Can you make my AMF Roadmaster do 40?
As long as it's a V1 Roadmaster.
No, McCullough.
No, but I will say this, is as much as the McCullough motors and those AMF Roadmasters have got a bad name, I had never ridden one before. The internet just dictated that a Roadmaster was bad and no fun, and you shouldn't have one. We've done work on a couple of them here recently, and going, 23.5 miles per hour on a child bicycle frame is a good bit of exhilaration. I like it much more than I thought I would.
Yeah, they're a blast.
Yeah.
That was my first bike, and I rode that all over my hometown.
Oh, wonderful.
A little hard to find the, was it Stator for them?
Well, there's
the electronic
somebody
ignition deal.
That's funny. We actually just bought one. It's sitting on a bench waiting for our mechanic Greg Goki to install on Sunday here. But there's somebody on eBay selling new ones. So.
Oh, really? A decade ago,
Yeah.
when I tried, there was like one guy in Oklahoma who had like 20 of them, and they were super expensive.
It was not cheap. I would not say that it was a cheap part. I mean, it was $50 for the pickup, I think. But $50, and then $20 for the bike, so $70 into a bike, and good bit of fun.
For sure. And when it inevitably breaks down, the pedal gearing is right, where you can do 10, 15 miles an hour pedaling it easily.
Yeah, no, definitely pedals a lot better than the majority of these old clunky things. We obviously, as a shop here, a lot of people come in and don't know, and they want to chat on them, and they're all like, "Whoa, when it breaks down, can you paddle it?" And I'm like, "Well, I mean, it depends how fit you are and how much patience you have."
I know with my Gorellis and I want to say the Maxis, really, you can pedal them, get going just fast enough to stay upright a lot of times.
Yeah, that's about right. What is kind of fun is that a lot of times we'll get these totally oddball antique bikes, the ones from like the 50s through late 60s that I don't even know how they got here. They weren't legally a class of vehicle in the U.S. until 74. So you get these old oddball bikes in here. But all of them without fail are really, really like good pedaling bikes. And they all do about 35 stock because, again, they were imported before there was a law allowing them, which means there was before there was a law restricting them to the 30 mile per hour speed.
My 59 Montgomery Ward's Riverside Motobecane rebadge did 35 or so stock.
Yeah, no, they're great, and they're big and they're fun and they're quick off the line. I actually have got one of the 63 Motobecanes that I got from Devin from Motion Left Mopeds. It was one of his personal bikes, and it's a cool, like a stock sleeper bike. It's all the body stuff is there. Everything looks original and nice and shiny with the white walls and all that. And then it's got, I think, just a 70cc kit and a CDI with the stock exhaust and maybe like a 2mm bigger carb. But it's a good, fun, low 40s bike that just looks beautiful.
So with all of the different things you've done and all the different businesses you've gotten into, what has been your most frustrating experience?
I guess the most frustrating thing that we deal with on a normal basis, I guess, is that lots of people who come in here, they want to talk and chat and relive the nostalgia of the whole thing. We get a lot of customers that are people that had them when they were 14 to 18 years old, back in 77 through 82, 83. And all like very, very nice people, very well intended. We have so much work to do that you want to give these people the time to chat on their memories, but you don't have time to give them the time, but you want to. So that's kind of puts us in a frustrating situation just because, we want to accommodate more than is really practical. So that's kind of a thing. Another one is that right now, I had mentioned that our eBay store, we primarily sell parts. We've sold a couple of bikes on eBay. And, like I said, we do a warranty on everything. We do a 60-day warranty. And inevitably, we've built the bike. We've put maybe 10, 20 miles on it. And whatever can reveal itself wrong in 10 or 20 miles reveals itself. We send it out. But likely something, at 150 miles or 200 miles will go wrong and it'll come back and we'll fix it. But when we sell the bike, out of state, and those things go wrong, it makes for a difficult and awkward situation. So we kind of have stopped doing that because we end up spending just hours and hours doing phone troubleshooting with people. And it's, no fault of theirs, I understand it, and no fault of ours because you can only see what goes wrong when you have it. But that's kind of a frustrating thing. Something that used to be frustrating, which isn't anymore, is that we've accepted it. Being a moped shop and dealing strictly with true motor and pedal mopeds. In Michigan, never had pedal laws. So lots of scooters here, and everyone thinks that scooters are mopeds. So we probably 60% of the phone calls that we get here are just us explaining to people that a scooter is not a moped, or that an ATV is not a moped, or that a bicycle with a Chinese motor is not a moped, or that a 650cc motorcycle isn't a moped, or that kind of a thing. So it used to be frustrating, but we just kind of have accepted that that's part of the deal here running the shop. We actually have on the front page of our website, which is down because we're switching servers right now, but on the front page of our website, one of the first things is just we don't work on all these other vehicles, and we have a link to all of our preferred vendors, which works out well for us because when we first started, it was just, no, we don't do that, leave us alone. Now we send people to the right mechanics for what they have, and those mechanics in turn send us work. So it's a pretty good working relationship we have with a couple other shops around town here.
That's the way to be, for sure.
Yeah.
So speaking of bikes and different kinds, do you guys have free time to ride, and what kind of bikes do you personally own?
For me, I tend to be a ZA50 kind of a guy, the Puch 2-speed motors. we rode the pinball run a couple of years back, and our entire team of 3 of us all rode ZA50s from Minneapolis to New Orleans. And it was funny because when we finished, we thought maybe people would say, "Oh wow, a team of 3 people, largest team to all finish, great, congratulations." Or, my girlfriend, she rode the whole thing on a bike that she built herself, right? Somebody might say, "Oh wow, first girl to complete the whole thing on a bike you built, great." What everybody was really surprised and amazed at was that 3 ZA50s finished, because they were all convinced that no ZA50s could finish the race. So that's kind of my main go-to. I'm also on this big kick of getting kind of like, I guess I'll call them like oddball bikes. For example, I've got a really nice stock Carabella. It's like the Mexican version of the Minarelli V1. And those bikes, I think they were not built with the same restrictions in mind, so I think it does about 38 stock. Super fun and interesting bike. I have a Chinese knockoff of a Hobbit. I got it with, I think, 60 miles on it. Another bike that they were not at all concerned with the moped laws, so does about 40 miles per hour, clean in stock. I have a weird European kickstart Puch that's got little 12-inch wheels, and it's basically a Magnum with the hydraulic suspension and all the MK2 stuff, but little teeny 12-inch wheels. I also does about 40, so kind of on a big kick with those things. The other guys in the shop here, it's kind of good and bad. We're very, very segmented. So Greg Goki, he's one of our mechanics. He pretty much only rides either Japanese nopeds or the French bikes. He builds a lot of French bikes. So, he does all those repairs, and that's his specialty. Damon Freed from Louisville, Kentucky, who moved up here to join MCR and hang out with all of us and work at the shop. He primarily rides Hobbits and Marini bikes, some Minarellis, so he does most of the repairs on those. Mike V, who works here as a full-time mechanic, he's pretty much our E50 guy, pretty much what occupies all of his time, and he does all of those, and he's real good at them and can do them with his eyes closed. And so he does those. Andrew Struther, who works here, he primarily does Italian bikes, a little bit of Puch stuff, and again, that's what he rides, so that's what he works on. So I will say it makes us really efficient having everybody work on their specialty, but at the same time, it's a little bit limiting because, people don't expand the skill sets too much because we're, on repeat doing the same things well and quickly and successfully, but same things over and over again.
I can understand that. Being all motorbicane myself, I finally, for the first time, dug into an E50 after 2.5 years of rebuilding motors.
Yeah. How was it? The E50?
Ridiculously simple. I didn't even need to drag out my heat gun.
No, they're an easy one. Usually we'll, go ahead and bake the cases or whatever, but yeah, or bake the bearings. I'm sorry, I don't even, like I said, I'm here at the desk all day. But yeah, usually we bake the bearings and freeze the crank, but other than baking the bearings and freezing the crank, that's about it. Otherwise, just put them together, take your time, make sure everything lines up, and you're good to go.
Yeah, it's a little bit ridiculous.
Yeah, well, that's why it's everyone's first and preferred moped, and again, for us, it makes it a really easy scenario for us to build quality bikes and to warranty our work and make sure that we're able to provide a good service quickly and efficiently, because obviously in this trade we charge by the hour or by the minute really. So the more quickly that we can complete our repairs, the more money we can save you, and if we're saving you money and you're happy with us, then you'll come back and tell your friends to come back and all that. So we just kind of, as efficient as we can be, as cheap as we can be, as more often as we can get people to come back to us.
And it seems to be working by all accounts.
It is. Like I said earlier, I'm doing this retail boot camp to kind of get some training for myself as far as how to run this, because right now, or up until now, really, it's just been work has been thrown at us. We do a good job, and requests for apparel and helmets and accessories have been thrown at us, so we just kind of respond with doing a good job. But now we're kind of to rein it all in and get everything under control and be a little more efficient. Just because, again, we've been basically a half a step behind, which has been good. There's no way to lose money if you're trying to keep up with the work that's coming at you. But now we're trying to tidy up processes, if you will.
No doubt, and I wish you guys luck. I wish all companies had the problem of it growing too fast.
Yeah, no, it's a good problem to have. When you're in it, sometimes it doesn't feel that way, but definitely there's an understanding that is how we should be, and we should be grateful for it.
Speaking of growing, what kind of cool stuff do you have coming up in the near future that you can tell us about?
Well, cross your fingers, knock on wood. We actually have an offer in on a new facility just a block and a half away here. So right now I'm currently in the process of taking out some equity from my house to buy this new building. But if we can get into the new building, what that'll allow is for us to in this current building, we just kind of bought it, moved in, started working, and we've been kind of trying to keep it tidy and renovated around working. There we're actually going to end up hiring an architect and, having actual renderings and an actual plan and, doing a real proper build out. So hopefully once we're in there, we'll have again, if you come in here, it's a good looking shop, but hopefully when we're in there, you'll be really wowed and impressed and amazed by the new shop. So hopefully we'll close on that by the end of the month.
Right on. It sounds like everybody's moving up lately, moving out. And
Yeah, I think a lot of people when we open the shop, so I'm like, well, how can you have a vintage moped shop? It's not even a thing. No one provides that service. But that's kind of my whole point is like we've got 40 years of backed up work to catch up on. So I'm sure it'll be a curve. I mean, it already has been. Like we got hit with a lot of business, and then everybody who was actively looking for somebody got their mopeds repaired, and everybody who was actively looking for a bike, was able to get a moped. So then things kind of slowed down a little bit. But then, we kind of learned how to get seen by a new audience. So all of a sudden, there's a new batch of work here that's come out. And so, like with every step, more people get exposed. So I think it'll take us a while to get caught up on this 40 years of back repairs that we get going.
that's a good way to explain it. 40 years of back repair.
Yes. So a lot of these old bikes have been thrown in the scrapyard, but a lot of them are still out there in barns and garages and waiting to come into us and get going.
Every time you think we've found them all up here, somebody else finds two more in a barn and throws them on Craigslist for $50.
Yeah,
it's kind of incredible.
Every day. Yeah, it's really interesting. We've got a couple of local moped flippers, if you will, and they somewhat get villainized for what they do. And for us, it's a little bit frustrating, but at the same time, every bike that those guys dig up and, clean up and throw a new spark plug in and get them on the road is a new bike on the road, which will inevitably come back to us or get sold to somebody else who will come back to us or whatever. So, bikes just keep coming. And then you get interesting stuff. Like we got a phone call from a guy just a couple miles away from the shop here. And he's like, oh, have you heard of a Puch Magnum LTD? I'm like, what? He's like, oh, yeah, me and my buddies when we were 16, we bought 3 of them. We rode them all around. I got it in my garage, just down the street, super rare moped. I wouldn't have expected it to be around here. Just an original old guy that's got it, and who knows how many there are similar scenarios like that around here. So
just right under your nose.
Yeah, right here. Just gorgeous too, original. Just perfect. And yeah, and I mean, I guess what he said was that I think the LTDs came out in 80 or 81, and by 83, since they were so expensive, no one had bought them. So his moped shop just down the road from where our current shop is actually put them on clearance, and him and his 2 buddies picked them up. So all 3 of them just the next 2 or 3 years just rode Magnum LTDs around like it wasn't a weird, cool, awesome thing. So, I mean, they enjoyed it, but with a little bit different mindset than we get excited about now.
So, where do you guys see yourself in the next 5 years? Do you have any long-term crazy plans?
Yeah. That's what I'm trying to assemble. So far it's been pretty reactionary, which again has been successful, but we're trying to get a plan together with the new shop, being able to be a little more tidy and organized, and to keep some of the, we will still be keeping our old shop to keep a lot of this excess inventory that we have. So hopefully the new shop will allow us to grow our customer base, depending how the layout works out. Even though we don't want to necessarily work on scooters or mini bikes or motorized bicycles, we might begin some retail as far as selling parts for that, because turning people away for repairs that we can't do makes sense, but turning people away who just want to buy a clutch, who just want to buy a belt, who just want to buy a chain, there's no reason that we shouldn't be able to at least stock those parts and help those people out. And a lot of the people with those kind of newer, cheaper vehicles are using them for transportation. So, I mean, it only makes sense for us to be able to carry the things to make a couple bucks and to help them get their transportation back on the road. So not that exciting for a moped-based podcast, but, every bit of money that we get coming in here enables us to do different, cool, interesting stuff. The YouTube channel's not going to be profitable, but it'll be cool and interesting. So if we can get some revenue in here through selling scooter parts or mini bike parts, it can kind of fund some of the more interesting stuff that we do here.
Definitely. Exactly. Did you have anyone you wanted to give a shout out to while we were on the air?
Ooh. I guess I'll just give a shout out to all my mechanics here. I think I went over a little run over of all of them, to Andy and Mike and Damon and Greg, and then Becky, who does all of our online stuff. Super important to the team, all of them. Help things happen around here. Treatland.tv is our main supplier. I believe that last year we were the largest orderer from them as well. So, so without them, we couldn't be doing what we're doing. Same for Tomos USA. We sell a lot of their bikes, and so that helps us out. It helps us put new bikes on the road. Plus, they're good looking bikes and good looking people for that matter. So we like those. Most of the staff here, we're all members of Motor City Riot, which is our local MA branch here, Moped Army branch here. So, it's that community-based thing that helped us get started. Now we're doing a lot of service for people who are not in the community, and we're working on bringing new people into the community. But, but to start out, what got us all into it and what introduced us all to each other is our club, Motor City Riot. So, big shout out to the club because that's kind of the start of what made this happen here for us.
All right. Was there anything else you wanted to talk about or bring up that you thought about while we were talking, or?
No, not a ton, but I guess, with all the stuff we've got going, I will say I'm always excited about new things, but yet reluctant about them. So I appreciate you pestering me about getting on this podcast. I think it's a good experience, good information to share, and I appreciate you doing that for us.
Well, thank you, and thank you for coming on today. It's been a pleasure to have you, and it's really good to hear about one of the larger shops in the area.
All right. Well, yeah, again, thanks for having us.
All right. Have a good day.
All right, you too.
This has been another episode of Brapcast. I'm your host, Ashley Ackley, and today we were joined by Alex Sammel from Detroit Moped Works. Do you have a crew, shop, or super rad mopeder you would like featured on our show? Tell us all about it on Facebook at Brapcast. Find our other episodes on SoundCloud, iTunes, YouTube, and the Google Play Store. Until next time, stay happy and stay brappy.